How you doing? How is your public holiday going? You see, I always have a problem with people that enjoy public holidays. It's not hating. It's how you guys tend to feel like you have arrived or you have made it in life because, hey, you are still at home, you are not working, whereas people like Denise are at work. There's just one way you behave. I don't know. But don't worry, one of these days, public holidays will touch all of us. Well, I can't complain because, see, this journey, this purposeful journey of not just talking for development, but informing you, educating you, and entertaining you somewhere down the line is indeed fulfilling. So that's why we're going to be here for you 266 days in a year. Every day of the week, every single hour, because we are your number one station for Talk 90.3 Nigeria Info FM. My name is Dennis Wall, one and only of Nigeria Info FM. And the conversation this hour is paternity fraud, the what ifs. I've been seeing a lot lately. They've been quite shocking. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to keep this shock to myself. I'm going to come and shock all of you as well. So I hope you have your shock absorber because we'll spread the shock around and let's see how much shock can go around everybody. Remember that saying, only a woman knows the real father of her child. Yes. So no matter what, the father may not know, but you see the mother, Ganga, she knows the father. What if she doesn't actually know? Or she thought she knew. Genuinely. Not some sort of make-believe. Not a situation of there was a cut. Or you were caught. And you were like, sorry, you have to forgive me. I didn't mean to. I didn't know. I'm sorry, it was a devil. It was a mistake. No, she didn't know. She so confidently believes you to be the father of her child until something happens. Well, this question leads us to our discussion now. That is the what is. Because you see, every time we talk about paternity fraud, women! Fear women, no. Take 30 minutes like this in your life to fear women. Women ever doing something for this life. Women. Well, the number of paternity fraud cases in Nigeria is increasing. Nigeria, surprisingly, is ranked second worldwide behind Jamaica in a paternity fraud situation. I mean, I remember the story and I just wondered if that is one of the reasons for the increasing cases of paternity fraud and our infamous number 2 ranking. Now, let me say, there is a possibility that a wicked and reckless wife would engage in an extramarital affair during her unsafe period, get pregnant and pass on the child to the husband as his. Now, this innocent husband who probably had intercourse with his wife around the same period assumes naturally that the pregnancy is his and brings up the child. It's just like younger men saying they prefer having relationships with married women because not the small girls coming to bother them. I'm not in my period, I miss it. Say, hey, while I don't come over. Find it now. Which one is find it? Why would I see it? No. The married women have a lot at stake to protect their image, the family. They wouldn't want shame. You understand? So they are pondering and say, okay, don't worry, I'll handle it. So the guy goes scot-free, and then they demand. So they feel like it's better to be with. Because that the woman cheated. Who has seen the movie, hey, God, is it Ahame Fula? The Wa Boy story. Standing there. What's the other guy's name now? What's his other guy's name? I don't reach to remember their names. The other fair guy, his friend, they were all apprentices of Kanayo. And then the friend was playing, his name is coming and going, funny enough, was playing match with Oga's daughter. And then, at some point she thought she was in love, or she was probably in love, but dude was basically using her. But Stanley, on the other hand, was indeed in love with her. And when he saw his friend was with her, he just had to swallow it up and just let things go until they encounter themselves, and the love did not die after several years. But then this is it. She was with the other guy. People should help me with the name of the guy now. I don't want to call him the other guy now. She was with the other guy, the fair one. Stanley is dark, so let's see, she was the fair one. And then at some point, she got to realize that, what I'm doing here is not love. Whereas there was Stanley, the darker one, who was promising her love, affection, and everything. And then she goes to him. Truth is, in that movie, if you really watched it, you will realize she didn't even know that she was pregnant for the fair one. Not until Stanley opened up about it. And he knew that this child was not my biological child. However, I love this woman, I love this woman, I love this woman, Ganga. And at the end of the day, whether this child is my biological child or not, as long as this child came from this woman, I don't mind. And guess what? Fair One kept using it to blackmail him, taunting him, ripping him off, basically. And then Fair One dies because he got into some shady stuff. He's always been a shady person right from time. But this time, Darker One was scared. Alex Ekubo. Oh, thank you. So people used to watch film, eh? It's okay. So yes, Alex Ekubo, thank you very much for that prompt. So as I was saying, he was covering up for him. And he was doing his shady stuff until he says no. And the moment he says no, the bad guys got Alex Ekubo and police got him. And he had to now start telling the story of what had transpired. And it was not until then that he opened up to his wife, who did not know that the child that she thought belonged to Stan actually belonged to Alex. Now this time around, the husband found out. He knew. He did the DNA test himself. Got the shocker that, true, it's not my child. So I'm gonna be paying money. They are blackmailing me. I'm gonna be paid. And he did not involve the wife. Until when he told her. And you saw how she literally broke down in tears. And she kept screaming, no, because she didn't want to believe it wasn't true. Now these are the many possibilities of what ifs that it seems that a lot of us are not taking consideration. Whenever we hear paternity fraud, we say, hey, fear women. Now, while this conversation might seem like I am advocating for women, it is not. Now, pause, listen, grab a seat, hold water by your side. Water, hold it. Because when I read what I'm done reading, you understand why I told you needed to sit down and drink water. How and where did you meet your partner? And this was the person's explanation. I was the person that took the sample from his kids for the paternity test. Swapped it. And it came out negative. His wife committed suicide from the ensuing drama. I was there to console him. And it's been bliss ever since. I take that again. It's like a Bible passage. Chapter 1 verses 1. Listen and be blessed. I was the person that took the sample from his kids for the paternity test. Swapped it and it came out negative. His wife committed suicide From the ensuing drama, I was there to console him, and it's been bliss ever since. This one now, woman do woman. See, I don't want to think of what demonic or cultic or how dark this person's heart is, but this is a clear case of what could go wrong. Someone taking a sample, swapping the sample, and of course it will come out negative, obviously. So whether it was a mistake or it was deliberate, because apparently maybe she had seen the man, very cute guy, nice guy, I want to do paternity test. For you to even want to do paternity test, I'm thinking that you already have iota of doubt. You don't trust your wife. So I'm going to leverage on that window to set confusion in the enemy's camp. You know, they say when the edge is broken, serpent bites. You know, why men slept, enemies come and so tars. That is what this is what it looks like. All right. And she leveraged on that and she wreaked havoc. The other story is about a friend. You know how you go to deliver your baby and you need somebody around you as a support system, and you have a friend, maybe a bestie. You know how they used to do bestie, my bestie. A bestie goes there with you, or a bestie comes to see you. You just delivered of the baby. Hey, congratulations. Hi, guys. You know, people that used to turn camera. Say, hi, guys. Guess what? My friend just gave birth your latest godmother, y'all. Hey. Oh, my gosh. Baby's so cute. Can I see the baby? Can I carry the baby? Aww. All this mushy stuff. And at that point of doing, she deliberately switched your baby. Deliberately. Took another baby, someone else gave birth within that period, and she switched the babies. Just so that sometime in future, this same friend calls your husband to tell your husband, go and do a paternity test. That child is not yours. She orchestrated everything and plan enter like this. It was solid. Baba went, did DNA test. Child is not his own, obviously, because the child had been switched. Now we'll go on a commercial break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, I will share one more story, and then I will ask a very, very important question. I'll open the phone lines, I'll read your messages, and I'll take your calls as well. It's still the sunny side of 92.3 Nigerian for Paternity Fraud, the what ifs. Stay tuned.
For more talk.
I hope you drank water enough when I, share the first two stories. So there's something called a chimera twin. The people that did biology or medicine will understand it better. But in biology, genetics, it is basically an organism or tissue that contains at least 2 different sets of DNA. It shock you? Mm-hmm. Most often originating from the fusion of any or as many different zygotes, fertilized eggs. The term chimera is actually derived from the chimera of Greek mythology, a fire-breathing monster that was part lion, part goat, and part dragon. So let me try to explain this in simple terms. The possibility of a woman who was found to have blood containing 2 different blood types. Apparently, this resulted from her twin brother's cells living in her body. This was discovered actually in 1953. A 1996 study found that such blood group chimerism is not rare. So let me try to explain it in a simple way, the simplest of ways you can possibly think of. So let's assume Chioma is pregnant. Chioma's eggs got fertilized. However, Chioma's eggs, 2 eggs were fertilized, or 1 egg fertilized and split in 2. At least that's how twins, it happens. So 1 sperm fertilizes 2 or blah, 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 blah. Guess what? So at the beginning of conception, there were 2 babies, right? But then again, somewhere down the line, one of the baby absorbed the other child or the other baby. And you see, in that process of absorption, they absorb the other baby's DNA. It's funny, it's medicine. Don't ask me. When I saw it for the first time, I read about it sometime last year. I did like this. And I'm like, okay, Denise, calm down. What's really going on here? Yes. So it could be 2 boys, or it could be a boy and a girl. And by the way, I read something recently about a surgery that was conducted to take out a chimera twin from the brain of the other baby. Yes, like the baby did not grow in the womb, but now started growing in the brain of the twin. So they had to take out that fetus. Yeah, good. So this time around, you're one baby, but you had another baby, but you're somehow absorbed the DNA of the other. So when the baby is born, it comes out as one, but you see with 2 DNAs. Now, a particular lady got pregnant, was delivered of the baby, and then of course DNA testing came again, and then they carried out a DNA test, and they shall discover that her husband was not the father. But she has not been with any other man apart from the said husband. They run helter skeleta. That's how we used to say it, Abby. Helter skelter. They ran up and down. They did this, did that, blah, blah, blah. And after much findings, I guess the husband must have been patient for them to have done all of those findings, right? They discovered that the DNA in this baby, Gangan, that they are saying this man is not the father, he actually did the work. Yes, it was his sperm cells that was released. However, the DNA belonged to his twin that they did not even know existed, that had died in the womb, but he had absorbed into his own DNA. So you see, he fathered the child, he did the work, but the DNA belongs to his twin brother. I mean, how complicated can science and medicine get? Come on, think about it. I mean, only thinking about it, I'm like, hey. So how many paternity fraud cases have we looked at and actually said, hey, fear women, when indeed the woman is completely innocent? How thorough have we been in the process? What will even make you beyond traveling? Because now it's what is raining. So I wouldn't be surprised if some men will just wake up one morning and have a DNA test carried out on their children. And anything the DNA test says, they don't want to hear what the wife has to say. But baby switching, samples being swapped, chimera situations, and there's several other things that you can possibly think of. People stealing babies at the hospital, blah, 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 blah. Oh my goodness. So ladies and gentlemen, tell me, with all of this said, and after thinking about it thoroughly, what are the ethical considerations involved in paternity testing? What are the challenges with proving or disproving paternity fraud in Nigeria? Let's talk. Catch your breath. Okay? Deep breath in and out. In and out. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Once again, 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp and Telegram number is 0809-030-6416. Again, WhatsApp and Telegram number 0809-030-6416. On X, you can watch us live. We're at Nigeria Info PH, and our Facebook page remains Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. So go there, watch us live, and most importantly, be a part of the conversation. What's this about? Family altar? Okay, we're not family altering anything. Yeah, you can also try sending us a WhatsApp message or calling the WhatsApp number. I will gladly read them. That being said, who's my first caller? Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you and welcome to the sunny side. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Namdi.
Namdi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Okay, so I've just been listening to your discussion this afternoon. But I have this to say that at the beginning, issue about DNA tests never existed, more or less. As the world has advanced and technology and all kinds of things, unfaithfulness and all kinds of wickedness has multiplied, that's when the issue of DNA test came up. And people were trying to find out, oh, is he my child or is not my child? Actually, at the beginning, if you've married, you've married. So when you have children, it's believed that they're your children. In fact, the Bible days, when you step out of your marriage or your home to sleep with someone, you're stoned to death. So it means that it's because of this whole degeneration of morals, wickedness, and the change happening everywhere in the world that's making people go and try to find out whether husband is yours. Is he his husband that had the child or not? But faithful people, families who trust themselves, you don't even think about it, and that's what I think.
Faithful families who trust themselves. What is it? What if it is a requirement for instance, like people who want to travel abroad? Hello.
Okay, so even though it is what is required for those who want to travel abroad, well, it's to fulfill all righteousness. The percentage of what you will get that will be negative in such situations might be very, very small. So generally, if at all it will exist. So my thought is, actually, families, marriage is supposed to be people who are faithful to themselves, and they just believe it, they don't need to bother. But if it's just for formality's sake, okay, so that we can travel, they don't even think about it. Just do it and don't bother, because in their mind, they know that they are forthright to themselves and they are faithful people to themselves, and there won't be any issues. So that's my thought.
All right, then. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think the phone lines are now clear, so we follow to the phone lines 0817-923-0002 0002 and 0817930003. WhatsApp and Telegram number remains 0809 030 6416 0809 030 6416. Just a few seconds, please. All right. Oh yeah, a call screener is in standby to take your calls first before passing you on to me in the studio. So when you do call, the first voice you would hear will not be my voice, but that of a call screener. So you just leave your name and your location, and in no distant time, you would be connected to me right here in the studio. I have Joseph calling from LMA. Hi, Joseph. How are you doing today? Hello, Joseph. Joseph,
for all this.
Distrust.
Because if I trust my wife and had confidence in her, there is no need of me demanding for a DNA test. On the analysis given by you, I think aside that, the equipment machine also sometimes could be giving wrong information. For those that have run a HIV test, some of them are not positive, but the machine could give you a result that is not yours. So I am in the opinion that the men that are in such thought in taking their wife to conduct or run DNA test should desist, because there is no authentic or no true result that may come out of it. That is my take. Thank you.
All right then. Thank you so much. The machine could be wrong. Yeah, that's a possibility too. It could be wrong. But you see, it's when the news breaks. It's just like you calling somebody to say, hello, hi, sorry, your mother don't die, At that point in time, what happens? Shock. Some people cannot take it. Some people have passed out getting news that their loved one passed on. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. In short, some people have gone like they joined them. They couldn't bear it. It was unbearable. So they lost 2 people in a day. Your wife don't. And that was it. It's the devastating situation. Even we say false HIV results, you are there. Maybe you have been living a promiscuous life. Maybe no, you just went to do a test because you just wanted to know your status, and you are waiting for the result, and you see the result comes back positive. I don't think at that point in time you're thinking of the what ifs, that this could be a wrong result. I mean, how many people go for a retest? You get a diagnosis from one doctor. How many of you actually go to seek a second, third, and fourth opinion from another doctor to be sure that what is doing you is actually what is doing you? Chinonso from Lukwaku, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chinonso. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing very well. And how about you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, talking about paternity fraud and DNA testing. Personally, I think testing is what most men, especially guys that are working offshore, guys that their job takes them out of town for 2 weeks to 1 month or something like that. It is very important. Now, I'll give you a short real life story. This happened here in Port Harcourt. A guy that works offshore. He has a house and then he has a tenant, right? So this tenant is friendly with the family. So the guy likes this guy, so he lives in the just an apartment in the house, right? Just in the BQ of the house. So this guy travels offshore. He normally works 30 days or something, like say 50 days to 30 days. So the wife became pregnant and gave birth. Right? As this child begins to grow up, you begin to see a photocopy of the tenant
on the child. So when this became very obvious, this guy went for a DNA test. And, of course, the result was very obvious because the baby was a photocopy of the tenant. However, at the early stage of his doubt, the wife said it's because the guy lives in their house. That's why, because when she was pregnant, she was always looking at the guy's face. That's why the baby took a resemblance of the guy. Now, going back to the story, when the DNA result came out, it happened that the guy, the probability of the father being the real father of the child was 0, meaning it wasn't the man that gave birth to the child. So, I think it is very important for people, especially guys that work offshore, to make it a very important thought, especially when there are no striking resemblance of the father. Like with the...
excuse me. When you say striking resemblance of the father, not all babies look like their parents. Oh. I have a cousin who neither looks like the mother nor the father. She looks like the father's elder sister that was not even alive when she was born. Until the day she got to the village. And you know how in those days in the village, every member of the family, they will have an enlarged portrait in the living room, if it was a big living room. Yeah. As soon as she stepped into that living room and she saw that picture, she was the one that asked, "Who is this woman?" And they say, it's your father's elder sister. And how in the world's name do I look like my father's elder sister that I have never met in my lifetime? My mother never met this lady. But that is the person she looks like. Some people can look like somebody from a... Why do you think some people, mother black, father black, became half caste?
Yes, I know. Something like this happens. But what I'm saying is, it is important to clear all doubts. It is important, especially if you have the financial capability. It is worth doing. To clear all doubts. Especially when you don't stay at home for
why are you safe now? Why are you not staying at home? Try and stay at home. These are the issues. Stay one place. Why are you not staying at home to guide your home? Because I'm not trying to make, like I said, I don't want to sound like I am advocating for women, but I'm also looking at the possibilities. What could have transpired? Now, okay, let's look at this first lady who had committed suicide. She's dead. She's gone. What's that thing they say about one day truth will come out or one day breeze will blow? Excuse me. Sometimes the damage has already been done before that one day. Am I making sense? Let me place more bed because it's as if the atmosphere here is very, very hot. Let me just smell. Good. The damage has already been done. That woman is gone. Probably nobody gave her fair hearing. You see, when it comes to infidelity and it's a woman involved, and it is looking like, yes, she cheated, nobody wants to listen. But babe, I didn't do it. Shut up. Family member gets involved. Ha! Chinenye! Ha! Now, wow! Hi! So after all my brother did for you, so after all my son did for you, and then your family will say, Chinenye, you're rush shame. You're rush shame. You know how dramatic our mothers can be. They start hitting their chest. Ha! Chinenye, oh, Chinenye. Other people married and stayed in their husband's house. You married. You went to go and bring shame. What did I come here to this house to do? No, you cannot come back into this house. Oh, my people will laugh at me. Hey. You know, and all over. And Chinenye cannot take it anymore. Chinenye has committed suicide. Chinenye is gone. Somebody swapped the samples. Somebody else felt like she deserved Chinenye's husband better and could go through that length, not thinking of the damage that could have been done. And even at the point when you discovered that you had made someone commit suicide, you happily walked into that marriage as someone to console, and now you are married to the same man. Or is it the friend who switched the babies and kept dropping anonymous messages for the husband, telling him to go and do a DNA test? Oh, come on. Sometimes when we look at things, let's try to understand what chance are these women given? Especially the ones that are innocent. What we don't believe are innocent anyway. Again, I ask, the challenges that one encounters with proving or disproving paternity fraud in Nigeria. How many men go and do tests somewhere else and do not rely on just one result? Good afternoon, Didi. Thank you for this wonderful topic. To me, the many what ifs are things that can be handled. Most of the stories you shared sound made up. If there's a suspicion about paternity fraud and an uncertainty on who the father is, a maternity test can be carried out on the mother. I missed that part out. The last story, yes. When they discovered the father was not the father, the switched baby scenario, good. They discovered the father was not the father. They equally discovered the mother was not the mother. And that was when, things started unraveling. But back to your message. For the absorption of a twin brother DNA by the surviving child, it actually sounds awkward because the twin brother carries the DNA of the supposed father. So whether or not the other absorbed the DNA of his brother, it is supposed to replicate that of the father's DNA. Well, it may not be so. They do it by percentage and all of that. May not be so. 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%, 99.7%. And remember, it's not just the man that makes the baby. Let's not give validity to paternity fraud in the name of assumptions. I'm trying not to. My opinion is, if the woman knows too well that she is faithful to her husband and DNA results says otherwise, she can take up the matter, ensuring that the right thing is done to redeem her image. In all, to God be the glory. Uche Barako. That sounds like the ending of a typical olden days Nollywood film. Okay. But with a maternity test, you can prove if the baby was shortchanged from Hector. Well, now with a maternity test, let's talk about that. A maternity test may prove the child is not the mother's. However, it may only mean that the woman bought the child, which may not be true. See how dicey things can get. With a maternity test, it will prove that this child is not the woman's child. But the first thing people will think about is not that this child was switched at birth. It could be that this woman had bought the baby. Baby, what do they call them now? Baby factories, right? Good. She could have bought the baby, pretended to be pregnant, brought the baby home, and then have the father assume he is the father. So that is not like, it doesn't directly solve the problem. Didi, DNA test is very important for every man to conduct on his daughters and sons to ascertain the authenticity of the paternity of the child. Many married women these days are too promiscuous. Obinna, send that in. All right, thank you, Obinna. This person has been typing since. Let me see what the person has been typing. Good afternoon, Didi. If mother black, father black, pikin come be half caste, neighbor hand the day inside. Michael from Port Harcourt. What are the odds that is a neighbor's hand that is inside? Growing up as a child, I've had seen some of these children, half caste children, and there's actually the real name for them. I'm trying to remember. Okay. So, every time you see a half-caste child, you always believe that the other parent is white, And yeah, by the time you do small investigation, you discover, that the father is probably from Israel. Maybe like in the case, is it Lebanon? Lebanon and Israel now. Ramsey Noah's mother or father is either Lebanese or something good, or Israel, right? Or the father or mother is Indian or something. However, you see this thing called gene? This thing called gene, ganganga, is very funny. It's the same way a mother is black, a father is black, and they give birth to an albino. Yes, that one self-day. Someone in their family tree or someone in their lineage had actually mixed race. Good. Someone in their gene had actually, it was a case of a mixed race between someone, great-grandparents, grandparents. By the time you trace, you discover that is possible too. So it may not be neighbor hand there inside, except the neighbor, of course, is white. As a woman, especially one whose hands are clean, if you want peace in life, you must only be with a healed, educated man who is not given to rash behavior. An unhealed man will punish you for the sins of the wicked women he encountered before you, or he will judge you by the standards of women he has been told about by bitter men. There are a lot of things we cannot explain because, especially if you are innocent, you have no answer. I have seen a case, a child was SS, mother was AS, dad was AA, so everybody assumes the mother cheated. Did paternity test more than once and it was positive. It's the man's child. I asked my husband, how is it even possible for an AS and an AA to produce an SS? My husband owns medical labs and apparently had seen it before. He explained that one medical scene that went over my head. If you marry or have a child with a man who is led by his emotions or other people's biases, who doesn't calm down to sing and is too proud to educate himself, you're gonna suffer. For God's sakes, there are men in this day and age who blame the wife for giving birth to a girl when every educated person knows gender of a child is determined by the man. How much more if it's when you are accused of paternity fraud and you are innocent? Some years ago, something happened and my husband said, I don't know this. I know what this looks and sounds like, but I also know you. There are some things you don't do. Therefore, this is just false evidence, and he uncovered who was trying to set me up. As a man, if you want peace, marry a woman who genuinely loves you, so that your heart won't have cause to cut when other men are talking of how they were scammed with paternity fraud. This message says, my elder brother's daughter does not look like her mother, but looks like our elder sister. You see what we are saying? My elder brother's daughter does not look like her mother, but looks like our elder sister. Now, someone says, let's be careful and talk within our knowledge. When two genes meet, no one can predict the nature, beauty, behavior, or color of the baby. Ogwajani Justice send that in. Neighbor's hand, no day inside. For instance, actress Queen Wokoye, her last child is very light like Oyibo, and that is how her grandmother is. I don't know the what's it called now. I don't know about her children. Please, this one says, I know a family that both parents are black, but their boy is albino. Men and women should be careful. This type of problem can lead to mistrust in the family. And then I'm probably thinking this will be my final message. Hi Denise, having worked for more than 6 years in an ARFH clinic, the rate of young battling with infertility is unbelievable. Most of them have been infertile from birth without knowing. During seminal fluid analysis, we see a lot. In this case, we advise donor semen. And for that child born of donor semen, there's no way the child's DNA will match with that of the father. Keep me anonymous. So even hospital hand the inside. Okay. It's just like some men know that they cannot impregnate their wives. And they actually make plans for someone else, either their friend or their brother, to do it for them. And the person impregnates the wife. She's unconscious. Had no idea, had no clue whatsoever that her husband cannot impregnate her. And rather than come to her to say, babe, this is what is on ground, the friend rather reached out, or the husband rather reached out to someone else to do the job. And she gets pregnant. And she's excited. And she shares the news with the husband. And the husband is equally excited. And maybe somehow, the man gets what we call selective amnesia some years down the line. And will follow the crowd. Yes, let's do paternity test. When you know that the results will come out negative, what's your plan? I want to know. I just want to know. I'm sorry I'm taking this particular instance. I want to take it personally. What is your plan really? What are you driving at? Let's understand you. Godwin Aguana says, good afternoon. Is that paternity fraud that we need to take drastic action and measure, not only by talking? The matter is a big issue. Godwin from Malakaya. And my final message here says, paternity tests can only be wrong in cases where a father is an identical twin or triplet. There is a potential, because his DNA is the same as his siblings, that all could be identified as the father. There are secrets that people go to grave with. For now, I pretend to be ignorant of DNA because I'm too fragile to stand with such surprise. George. The bottom line is this. If you ever feel the need to carry out a DNA test, it means you're suspecting something. Alright? There's just something that would have prompted you to do so. Think about what is prompting you. And then, of course, when you get the result that you get, it's always a good thing when it comes out positive. I'm the father, yay! But when it's negative, how about you pause and think of the what ifs? There's so many possibilities. I'm Denise Dennis Wallace. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Up next is Rivers Today. Follow us on X, on Instagram, on Facebook.
With information comes power.
We give you more power.